Notes 5.4, solving systems using elimination, day 1. So we're going to spend some time on this, and it's one of those topics that we need to persevere. So you need to stick it out. You need to keep working, not give up, and just keep at it, and it will come. So just like substitution, we want to end up with an equation with only one variable. Okay? We don't know how to solve equations with more than one variable. For example, if I had 2x plus 1 equals 5, I could solve for x. I would subtract 1, and I get 2x equals 4, and I divide by 2, and I get x is equal to 2. I solved it for x. But if I've got an equation, y equals 3x plus 5, and that's all I have, I don't know how to solve for x and solve for y at the same time. So I've got to get an equation with just one variable in it. So it says, using this method, we are going to eliminate. Okay, hence the word elimination. You're going to eliminate. So to eliminate something means we're going to get rid of a variable, okay, by combining the equations. Okay, we're going to combine the equations. Okay, just like combining like terms, we're going to combine the equations, right? So these are going to be steps that you're going to refer back to when we're working on the problem sets. Okay, so first thing, to use elimination, we're going to eliminate a variable by combining equations. That's going to be our first step. Okay, we've got to make sure that the signs are opposite. And these will make more sense, okay, as soon as we start to look at a problem. Opposite signs, okay, the opposite of positive is a negative, or the opposite of negative is a positive. Okay? Now it says make sure your variables line up before you add. What does that mean? You think about when you learned how to add and subtract two-digit number and two-digit number, or three-digit number minus a two-digit number. What did you have to do? You had to line up place values. So say we had 320 minus 15. Okay, you knew, or you were taught, to line up the ones place, to line up the tens places, to line up the hundreds in order to be able to subtract. So this is going to happen with the variables. We're going to have to make sure that the variables line up. So let's look at all these steps in action with this first equation, or excuse me, first system. So my system here is x plus 2y equals 8 and x minus 2y equals 4. Okay? It says you are going to work with your partners to determine a possible solution to solve the system of equations above. It does not matter if your answer is right or wrong. What matters is that you persevere and take risks. Okay, so this is talking about, this little blurb here is talking about when you're in here and you're working with your problem sets. You're going to be working with a partner or working with your groups. And the biggest thing is that you're going to stick with it. You're not just going to throw up your hands and give up. So let's take this equation, system of equations. I'm just going to rewrite it so we can take a look at it. Whoops. Equals 4. Okay. So make sure does everything line up before we can even start this process? Okay. We've got, look at that, the x's line up, the y's line up, and then the constants line up. So we're in good shape. Okay, everything's lining up. Now we've got x's and y's in both equations. So we've got to eliminate either the x's or the y's. And we've got to look for opposite signs. Okay, there's a lot there. So I look at my x's. I have a 1x and a 1x. And then I have a 2y and a minus 2y. And I have an 8 and a 4. but I want to eliminate either the x's or the y's. And are there any opposite signs? Right now, I see a plus 2y and a minus 2y. When you sit and think in your head, plus 2y minus 2y, what happens? What is plus 2y minus 2y? Hopefully you're saying that it's 0. That's correct. Holy smokes! Let's combine these equations. So my friends, what is 1x plus 1x? That's 2x. And then what is plus 2y minus 2y? You just said in your head it was 0. We just eliminated the y's. We have no y's left. They're all gone. And then what is 8 plus 4? It's 12. Now I have a simple little equation that I can solve for x. I'm going to divide by 2 to get x by itself. And I've got x is 6. So right now I have the x part of my solution. I just got to find the y now. Now this step is just like we've been doing with substitution. Take your x equals 6 and plug it into one of the originals. So when I look at the original, I think I'm going to plug it into the first original. X plus 2y equals 8. We just found x to be 6. Plus 2 times the y we have to find equals 8. So now I'm going to solve this equation for y. I need to get y by itself. 2y equals 2. Divide by 2, and I get y is equal to 1. I have solved my system. I've got my x and my y. It's 6 comma 1 is my final solution. All right. So let's hop over to number 2 right now. We'll backtrack and we'll come back to number 1. So let's make sure. Do my x's line up? They do. Do my y's line up, and then do my constants line up? Whoops, they do. Good. Now I can sit and look for opposites. Do I have opposite signs over each other? So I see 3x and 4x. Those aren't opposites. So now I look at my y's. Negative 5y and plus 5y. Are those opposites? Do they eliminate each other? Holy smokes, they do. That's what we want. So now let's go and combine our equations. So what is 3x plus 4x? It's 7x. And negative 5y plus 5y, it goes to 0. We eliminated the y's. We needed to. We had to get rid of one of the letters. Equals, and then 3 plus 4 is 7. Now solve for x. And we get x is equal to 1. We're halfway there, right? We've got the 1. We just need the y that goes with that x, which is 1. So take that and plug it back into one of the originals. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to choose the first one. 3 times the x we just found, which is 1. Remember, I'm going back into the original, the first original, minus 5 times y equals 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 5y equals 3. Now I'm going to take that equation and I'm going to solve for y. Whoa. Keep going. It's okay. Solve for y. Divide by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. Hiccups. Y is equal to, what's 0 divided by negative 5? 0. Done. My solution is 1, 0. Right? Next one. Last one. Oh, something shifted. Maybe not. All right. So when I look at this one, there we go. That's better. I check it out and I say, does everything line up? My x's line up, my y's line up, and my constants line up. Good. I've got x's over x's, y's over y's, constant over constants. Now I can see, do I have opposites? I have an x and an x. Those aren't opposites. I have a y and a 2y. Those aren't opposites. Uh-oh. I've got to do a little something extra to get opposites to happen. I can make this happen. I can force it to happen. Okay? So, I can take and I can multiply an equation by something. As long as I do it to the whole equation, it's okay. It's legal. It's a legal math move. So I'm going to take this first equation and I'm going to force an opposite to happen. Watch what I do, and you'll see what's going to happen. I put the whole equation in parentheses, and I said I'm going to multiply that whole equation by -1. So let's use our distributive property. Okay, so -1 times x is -x. -1 times y is -y. And -1 times 18, okay, right here, is -18. Okay. Now let's just bring over that bottom equation, because I haven't had to do anything to that yet. Double check. Do your x's line up? Do your y's? Do your constants? We're good. Do we have opposites now? I have a -x and a positive x. Holy cow! I just forced the opposites to happen by multiplying that equation by something. So now I can add my equations. What's -x plus x? 0. We got rid of the x's. Now let's think about those y's. It's a -1y plus 2y, which is a positive 1y, equals, and then -18 plus 25 is positive 7. So that's just one y. That's really just y is equal to 7. So right now I have the y, and now I gotta find the x. So do the same process. Take that y, plug it into one of the originals. I'm gonna pick the first original. You have to, that's why I said the original. Go back to the problem. I took the first one, and I'm going to solve for x. I just found my y is 7 equals 18, and now I'm going to solve this equation for x. X equals 11. There's my solution, 11, 7. Okay? So tomorrow in class, we're going to have these out. You're going to be constantly referring back up to these steps, okay? And we're going to practice, and we're going to practice and practice and practice, and I guarantee you guys will start to see how easy this system, solving this system of equations is by elimination. Nice job.